What's going on, kids? It is Dr. Remy LeBeau, and I'm coming at you once again from the X-Lair to provide you my very deep and insightful reaction to the latest episode of The Gifted. We had Season 2, Episode 12 air tonight, and as I was informed by one of my lovely followers that we only have 16 episodes this season, not 18 like I thought. So if this is a 12th, we have 4 more episodes to go. That's pretty exciting. Things are ramping up, and it's clear. Good stuff happened this episode. It was a good episode on a character level and on a story level, and also just in terms of like the content, like the kind of things I like from the show, the characters, the relationships, and the sort of situations they might find themselves in. So overall, like, really good stuff. It really got me in really kind of accepting Clarice's decision to leave at the very end. I think the show, like, I talked a lot last half of the season that the show is sort of a slow burn. Like, it kind of builds up, and then where it actually goes is unclear at times, and it just feels a little bit like, well, when are we going to get somewhere at the beginning of the season? But that has changed now. Clearly the slow burn is starting to pay off, and everything that we saw with Clarice and Erg and the Morlocks, like, it was all about getting us to believe that in the end she would leave Thunderbird, someone that she has fallen in love with, someone that she has formed a strong connection with, for the Morlocks. And I bought it. I really bought it, and it really hurt. Like, the way it hurt Thunderbird, it resonated with me. I was like, damn, you know, like, this is... Because I like, even at the beginning of the episode, like, when they were having, like, their intimate moments, it was kind of cool because I was, like, really feeling the chemistry. I was like, this is Blink and Thunderbird together as a couple on an X-Men show. I was like, this is really cool. I'm like, I was so happy to be watching that, you know? Just kind of took a moment to kind of reflect on that. And then it was yanked away, and, like, we didn't know that that was going to happen. I didn't know where the flashback was fitting into the episode, because there was a lot happening, right, with all the characters. And so I didn't quite understand, like, what is this exactly going to tell us? Obviously, it was going to tell us something about something that Clarice was eventually going to do, and something that the show did, which it has not done before, is kind of track one of these flashbacks through the episode. And so I didn't realize that they would give us more information later about, oh, like, her and her sister got away, but they got only to, like, the front yard, and now they want to go back and fight the father to save the other foster mutant children, and that ultimately gets one of them killed. Like, I didn't see that extra part of the story coming, so it didn't quite, you know, resonate as fitting within the entire structure of the episode. But then where it ended up going, like, the convergence of the past and the present and everything that's been going on the last few episodes, like, it got me, and I was like, shit, like, Blink has left Thunderbird, and it makes sense. And now she's with the Morlocks. Now, at the very end, I was wondering, like, are they going to bring up the whole thing of, like, her having to put that M on her cheek? But then again, she does have a mark on her face already, so maybe not. But maybe. And she has purple hair and, like, green eyes, so maybe that's enough. I think, isn't that what it was for Erg? Like, I think Erg explained that they put the mark if they don't have something that I readily would identify them as a mutant, because the mark is supposed to then create common ground between those that can't help looking the way they do, and you know, easily being identifiable as a mutant versus those that aren't. So maybe because she already has some traits, like, she doesn't have to put that mark on. All right, I'll buy that. I'll buy that for $1. That's a RoboCop reference. We had a lot of cool stuff happen this episode. I'm loving what's happening with Lauren. I'm loving it. Like, when she got out of that car and she was gonna, like, take down Sentinel Services and the cops, I was like, yes, Lauren, yes! You are powerful, Fenris, beautiful mutant master of your power. Take them down, and she did. It was exciting, you know. It was the type of thing that if the show had a real budget, like, it would have been really impressive. But we're not quite at the end yet, and that's when the budget is usually blown. So we might get some really big stuff at the end. So that's exciting to think about. One thing that I was thinking about, but the show kind of took away from me, was the prospect that this Mutant Underground thing was going to be something really awesome. We were going to see a lot of like really cool canonical characters from the X-Men universe, maybe even some significant ones in that meeting, and then that would lead to bigger stuff, and there would be a big war between mutants and mutants maybe, and maybe the Purifiers as well. But we didn't get that. We got a massacre of Evangeline and the rest of the Mutant Underground by Reva's hench people. And by the fucking way, like, I mean, this is becoming kind of like a running joke now. Like, Reva there one episode, Reva not there the next episode, like, just magically disappeared. Like, maybe it's something to do with the actress's contract. Maybe she's being shared and she has a role on another show or something. I don't know. I'd have to check her IMDb, but it just feels a little bit strange, don't you guys think? That Reva's there one episode, then she's not there the next, then she's there the one after that. Like, alternating, it's like, she's the big bad, isn't she? Or maybe she's not. Maybe Lauren and Andy are the big bad. Or maybe the father, maybe Reed. Because he found that Fenris note, and then he translated it, and instead of, what I thought was it was going to somehow reveal to him that Lauren's changing and he was going to become, the responsible father, and he's going to step in and set her on the right path. But instead, first of all, the music appeared to be triggering his power, which is interesting. But even more interesting is that the way the Fenris message was resonating with his daughter, I think, was resonating the same way with him. And even though he wound up taking the drug, I feel like this is a foreshadow of maybe him turning and becoming like this kind of ruthless mutant powerhouse that maybe would become a villain. And maybe would join the inner circle with, hold on a second, let me get this guy going here. Okay. Maybe it would get him going to the dark side. And then I wonder what would happen with Kate, because, okay, so Kate was revealed to be a real badass today. Like, I saw some leadership sort of elements popping up last time in the last episode, but this episode we got her doing 25 pull-ups, which is impressive no matter who you are, no matter what gender you are. And and then when she was in the car with Lauren and they were being attacked by Sentinel services, she did not hesitate to get out of the car and start shooting at the police. That is some badass shit. That is some badass shittery, and I'm really impressed by her. So is she going to become like a badass human, like, adversary to her family because all of her family is going to turn to the dark side? I don't know, but it's really interesting to see that journey. I'm glad it's only one human because I don't need a lot of mutants and I don't need a lot of humans in my mutant show. But I like the idea of a human going from like supposed kind of ostensibly kind of a meek housewife to this badass like Linda Hamilton type, Terminator 2 reference. Judgment Day, the best Terminator film. That's cool. I like the idea of that. There's so many characters that it's like, it's hard for the show to really kind of dig in on the development of one, but maybe if the show survives, like, it'll really take us down some really cool journeys with all the characters, and that's always dope, right? That's the fun of a show, is like watching the characters evolve and grow and become something more and then take on the world in a better, bigger way than they ever could, at the beginning of the series. So that's hopefully something that we'll see there, and I would be happy to see it. Oh, hey, we got the Cuckoos. One of the best elements they introduced last season, and then they were like sidelined. This is the problem with the show. It just doesn't quite. It's not good at balancing all these elements. It's getting better maybe, but I don't think so. Because if you're completely leaving out Riva and you're not even fucking mentioning why, that doesn't make sense. You know? And then if you're going to have the Cuckoos in one episode and not say anything, that doesn't make sense. I like the Cuckoos in this episode, though. Clearly they're going to have a big role right now in bringing Lauren in. So they're going to... Andy's apparently given in to allowing Lauren to be manipulated by the Cuckoos. Interesting. Very interesting. This might be another element that might lead to at least Reed joining them. Maybe. I wonder if Lauren will join them. It would be interesting to see the entire family become villainous, except for Kate, or maybe she just would give in and also kind of be with them. But I don't think Riva would be okay with the mom being there. Like, I think she would want to kill the mom, to be honest. So, that's kind of a mixed bag there. I really like that mental battle, that astral plane battle between Lauren and, Lauren and Andy. Lauren was looking very very Dagger from Cloak and Dagger, but dope. And they had a really nice fight there. I appreciated the intensity of it. That was fun to watch. And the fact that it affected Andy and we got a Nightmare on Elm Street effect, that was cool. Outside of the dream. I like that. The idea that Lauren will join willingly is possible still, even though right now we're obviously being led down a path of her being manipulated into joining the inner circle. It could be that in the end, even when she is free of their influence, that she decides to join them, because it's what ultimately winds up making the most sense. Alrighty. Let me see what else happened in this episode. Read in the music box. Yeah, we got through that already. Let me see. Oh yeah, Kate and her brother. So that was a really interesting sort of side story that ultimately wound up, the purpose of it being for Andy to ultimately decide to allow the Cuckoos to manipulate Lauren into joining them, right? That's what the whole point of that was. But I liked it. I liked what went on. Like, her Kate's brother didn't know she was alive, so that was an interesting moment they had together, right? Where she realizes, shit, my sister that I buried is alive. That's intense. And then he winds up wearing a wire and betraying her. So I like the complexity of that. I like the Thunderbird versus Erg moment. That was a fun moment. The interesting revelation we got about Evangeline and Erg and how they had started the Mutant Underground after the 715 disaster they keep referencing. And apparently this is when the Xmen disappear, right? So it would make sense that there would be an attempt to build something. And what was left after their falling out, after Evangeline let those mutants die because a human betrayed them, was obviously the division that led to the Underground. But did it also lead to the Morlocks, or did the Morlocks already exist? Because this implies that he created the Morlocks. So what about what's her name? Callisto. Callisto is the head of the Morlocks in the X-Men in New York. So are the Morlocks not part of a network, and they're simply their own thing here? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. It's unclear. But apparently, yeah, Evangeline was willing to to threaten Erg in order to get him to join, and that is also a big reason why Blink was willing to part with the Mutant Underground and walk away from Thunderbird. You know, beyond that important backstory that was all about like fighting a losing battle and her not wanting to lose someone she loves again. Beyond that, like, this did help as well. The idea that, well, she's working underneath somebody for an organization that is willing to threaten a group of other mutants, and that obviously didn't sit well with her, and I understand. I totally respect it. It's unfortunate that Evangeline ultimately did wind up getting killed by the Harry Connick Jr. That guy, that other mutant that's working for Riva. He looks like Harry Connick Jr.'s son. So that would be Harry Connick Jr., right? That's what he would be. Whatever the fuck his name is. Have they said what his name is? They haven't even called him a name. But apparently he and his troop went, and they're the ones that killed the mutant underground that was going to become a strong force, potentially against, obviously no, definitely against Riva. So it makes sense that she would have them taken out. Now, probably one of the most interesting things that went out throughout the episode is Polaris, right? Polaris, very clearly now back on the mutant underground side, but willing to be the mole in Riva's organization. Happened very quickly, but I bought it, and it was smooth, and I just like seeing Polaris, like, in general, and I like seeing her in this kind of really complicated role, because she plays that really well. She's a really great actress. Emma Dumont, I believe her name is. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, so it's cool that, like, she is in such a complex storyline, and we're seeing her be torn in so many different directions, and her playing it so well. It really resonates as Polaris for me, because Polaris is that character, the one that's torn, the one that's like, I don't know, I have these feelings, and sometimes they're intense, but sometimes I don't want them to, push me to cross the line like my father did, just that whole thing. It's classic Lorna, and like I really buy it on the show. So yeah, I'm liking what I saw here. I like this episode a lot. I like what's happening with the season. I'm very excited to find out what's going to happen these last 4 episodes. It's going to be a crazy wild ride. Hopefully we don't get some big ass break, but we probably will, but hopefully not. I'd like just 4 more weeks, 4 more episodes, get us to whatever it is you're getting us to, and then have people talk about it, have the show start to build a little bit of word of mouth momentum, because it deserves it. I want to see where the show can go. But on a side note, I'm pretty sure the Fox Disney deal is done. I saw the Russo brothers, the directors of Civil War, Infinity War, and now, Endgame. They posted a clip of the Simpsons opening on their Twitter account, where you had Thanos snapping out the Simpsons from existence. Thanos belongs to Disney. Simpsons are part of Fox. Disney buying Fox. Does them showing these characters together, does that say something that maybe we have known all along, but is like sort of almost definite, that the deal is done, and Marvel is united under one banner once again? If so, then I have a feeling the days of this show are going to be numbered. I would be glad about that, because think about what's happening with Disney and their streaming service. They're creating as of right now, they're creating 2 Star Wars shows that are going to be like super high quality, big money spent. They're creating, as of right now, I believe 2 Marvel shows, Scarlet Witch and Vision, and then they're doing a Loki one. And the money's going to be what it needs to be. What I was thinking was can the Scarlet Witch show be a bridge to the X-Men? Because the Scarlet Witch show could ultimately explore her parentage, and that could lead her to find out that Magneto is her father, if Magneto already exists. I don't know what's going to happen in not Infinity War, and Endgame, but somehow the door, I'm sure, is going to be left open for mutants to be introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So how that's going to happen, I don't know, but just think about the possibilities of Disney creating X-Men shows, spending $10 to $20 million per episode. Can you imagine that? It's likely going to happen, and maybe it'll happen sooner rather than later. Anyway, because of all that, I would be happy with this show not going any further. But nonetheless, I am enjoying the show, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Anyway, thanks for checking out my video. If you enjoyed what you saw, click on subscribe. Keep up with me. Hey, you might enjoy my other videos. If you liked the video, click like. If you didn't like it, click you don't like. It's alright to be honest. If you have some thoughts on the episode, throw them down in the comments section. And as always, I want to remind you that if you haven't already, you better put an X in the box, ladies and gentlemen, because ain't nobody checking me. Take care, folks. Bye-bye. Oh no, this is the long goodbye. The one where, no. Okay, I found the button. Bye-bye.